This is the Debbie Perkins Radio Show. And here's your host, Debbie Perkins.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hollywood Red Carpet Radio Show. I'm Debbie Perkins. I'm your host, and I have a great guest this evening. His name is Robb Demarest. You'd recognize him because he's been all over the world investigating with Ghost Hunters International and other things that he's done in the media. He's a great guy. He's been everywhere. I can't think of anybody that I know of that has been as many places as he has, especially within the paranormal field, and then some. And Robb, you've done a lot of things. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time coming. We were supposed to do this many moons ago. You know, just like Jason Hawes of Ghost Hunters fame, it is actually Demarest, not Demarest. My dad would kick me if I didn't say it. So, yeah, I've done over 50 countries in the world as far as investigating. Been there, done that. You know, it becomes actually a useful term.
Robb, when you were younger, did you ever see yourself actually being able to go to that many places in your lifetime? I mean, it's one thing to live.
Absolutely. You know, when I was, if you believe it, you can achieve it. When I was in third grade, I still have the journal. I said, I'm going to grow up and look for Loch Ness. So I was close. You know, most people are like, I'm going to be an astronaut. You know, my thing was like, I'm going to look for Loch Ness. I'm going to look for Bigfoot. So I was close. I actually have a Bigfoot investigation coming up in 2 weeks. So it may have taken some time, but I got there.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so cool. Now, I've never done that, the Bigfoot chasing. I have seen a Bigfoot, and it was on a stone, actually in Manchester, Maine, which is at a place called Devil's Footprint. They call it that, but to me, when you look at it, you're not seeing the devil's foot. You're seeing a Bigfoot encased in what might have been mud some oodles of many years ago. How do you go about doing that, Robb? Because do you go like where people are sighting them? Do you know? I mean, how do you get the heads on something like that?
Well, the way I do it is, you know, ask my girlfriend. You know, I ask her to contact people, and she has a friend who actually here in Canada, I'm in Canada right now, has a connection who has really written the book on ghosts, UFOs, and Bigfoot in this area. And he's actually, his name's Greg Mansfield. He's taking us out to go look for Bigfoot. You know, I can use the tools I have as far as like a thermal camera, a night vision camera, beam sensors, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, this is new to me. You know, I've seen UFOs twice. I've never seen Bigfoot. I've seen apparitions, I think, of the deceased twice. And, you know, so I'm happy to get back out there. You know, I think that you kind of need to diversify. You know, I spent over 30 years of my life looking for ghosts, and now it might be time to give Bigfoot a chance.
I think that's great. And I think any cryptid type of research is educational for the masses, because there's so many people that are looking for the hidden. And Bigfoot has hidden from the public view for so many years, but there's eyewitnesses, just like the UFOs, like you mentioned. I think it's pretty amazing. But when you do that, now are you talking like a week trip? Are you talking for the weekend? I mean, how long do you go out there and get settled in, and then, you know, because for one, you're going to kind of smell like, you know, humans. So, I think about it like, what would I do?
I have awful BO. Like, I don't even smell human. It's almost like a swamp beast.
Oh, yeah.
I like that you said.
Smelly underwear or really bad socks.
I'm going out for the weekend. You know, I am in that field a weekend warrior. Yeah. But am I going to go see Bigfoot? No. Is it making the attempt and adding something new, that I haven't done before? And I've done a crazy amount of stuff.
Oh, really?
It's just expanding upon that.
I think it's amazing, though, because you really are extremely world renowned. You've been so many places, and you've done it with so much fun and the aspect, and you're such a shy guy. It's sort of...
You can tell how shy I am.
Well,
no, I think that the show, Ghost Hunters International presented me as shy. If you watch Haunting Australia, a TV show that obviously I filmed in Australia, I'm not really that shy. I did Seekers in Malaysia. I did 5 episodes there. I did a TV show in India. I did 5 episodes of a TV show called Against Superstition in India. Wow. It was the #1 hit for Z News. So, my thing is that I have tried to keep my private life away from the camera, and it didn't necessarily work out that way. But hey, the more you try and keep it aside, the more people are curious about it, and such is life. Life goes on.
It makes you a human being anyway, so regardless, trust me, we all have lovers, we all have haters.
You said lovers.
That are happy to help you, and you got people that are happy to bash you. So, and it is what it is whenever you're in front of a camera. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be an opera singer and still get, backlash from people that either want to be who you are or want to do what you can do. They more to like idolize you. They're your actually biggest fans.
Genuinely, a lot of people out there, to tell the truth, quite hate me, and some have reasons and some don't. Some people are like, oh, I hated him on this show. That's fine. But I'm not a TV character. This is, when I did TV, that was reality TV. This was not like pretend gimmick. I was honestly like, I wouldn't put forward evidence if I didn't believe it. And
I love that. I think that's awesome because
that's beyond rare. That doesn't happen in TV.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And one time I asked Jason Hawes that, like straightforward asked him, and I think I took him sideways because he cocked his head like a puppy for a second, and he said, it is television. It is what it is. And, you kind of have to take cues from who pays the bills.
Yeah, and I disagreed with that. And most people don't. They say, hey, that's where the money's going in the bank. And I said, no, wait a second. You said this is reality TV, so I'm keeping it honest. And everyone's kind of like, you idiot. That's not what we do. We create fun programming for the fans. And I didn't know that. It was funny because I was talking to my dad a couple of years ago, and he said to me, if you had to do it over again and you knew how much money you could make if you just played the game, would you do it differently? And I said, no, I wouldn't. And he said, there's your answer. And then he added, stop crying about it. So
you couldn't be dishonest to yourself. And that's what it sounds like to me. And
when I look back at my work, go ahead.
I like to educate people to the honest truth. And that's what I took out of that.
That's not reality TV. That is not what these TV shows are. These TV shows are meant to entertain you, and I didn't go that direction. My direction was, I'm going to be honest, and if we didn't catch it, it's not going to go on the show. And so at the end, there was, when I left the show, when I was done with GHI, for example, I saw that there was faking. They were attempting to initiate faking.
Yeah.
And that was it. And a lot of people said, oh, I talked to Robb directly and he said he quit. No, I was let go Now, what a lot of people
And
don't
it don't
know,
even matter because we all grow in different directions. So, I
well,
mean,
what a lot of
you
people
did
don't,
it a long time, and you did get a lot of great experience from the locations alone. I mean,
absolutely.
who wouldn't
But
want to go to some of those places that you went to that just unbelievable, and then have a backstory as far as, you know, maybe just activity or paranormal knowledge, or even just a backstory on history of a location that's maybe 400 or 500 years old. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, to be honest. If you're a real true investigator, you really do love the educational factors of what you can produce for, even if it's for a show, but for yourself.
sure, absolutely. And I was doing it upfront and honest, so, a lot of people don't know that they were bringing me back for GHI. The ratings had just ran into a brick wall and were dropping once I was gone. The ratings just dive bombed.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
bring me back.
So much. Yeah, you really did. Your personality, who you are, as among other people in the team, you were really a big part of that. We all loved having you on that show. But growth without change is no growth, and you've been growing and growing and growing. So you're
I'm a big boy.
constantly changing, Rob.
Yeah, no, it seems like that growing and growing and growing seems to be more in my stomach area these days.
Oh. Well, I did hear that you did practice some martial arts. And
I practice a lot.
You do have a favorite of, and you know what? We had a lot of people on the show that do martial arts, so you're in good company.
Yeah, no, I mean, after I stopped training, I actually worked out when I was in the Middle East for years with a Mr. California and a Mr. Olympia. And I did weightlifting and weight training, and we just lifted like there was no tomorrow. That we lived weight training. And so I got up to 295 pounds solid, almost 300 pounds of muscle. And then I was like, you know what else is fun? Eating. I just eat everything.
You have to maintain that, wouldn't? Yeah, and then you have to eat healthy. Right?
You have to. Your diet becomes core, and these guys are shredded and huge, and so I lifted with them every single day. There was no cheat day. We'd spend 3 to 4 hours in the gym every day, and that was all I did for years.
But you're tall, too. You're a tall guy.
I'm 6'4".
That's unreal. You could play the next Jason Voorhees. I'm going to talk to the guys about that. You're really tall.
Get me by the throat. I don't mess with that dude. I've met him. I'm friends with the guys from Hollywood, Ghost Hunters, and I don't those guys. Not at my age and not in the shape I'm in nowadays.
He's the nicest guy in the world.
He's a sweetheart.
He's a big fan. He's been in a lot of murder shows. A lot of murder movies. You would love to act, though, as well, and I think you'd be great as an actor. And if you wouldn't mind being an actor, what type of things would you like to do? I mean, you've done reality TV, you've done radio, you've done so many different things. You've done events, you've helped so many causes. What would you like to do if you could be an actor? Because I could totally see you as many different characters.
I mean, I would like to do that. This is as sad as it sounds. You start looking around and you start saying, I'm kind of on the back end of this passing. As people that are dear to me start passing away, you start saying, soon enough it'll be my time. What is my bucket list, I guess? I would like to, if Emilio Estevez is listening, I would love to be in Young Guns 3, Young Guns 2 being one of my favorite movies of all time. The only reason I can keep my girlfriend around is because of our love for that movie. So he apparently is still filming or is planning to film Young Guns 3. If I can get a part in that, I'm good.
That's
I've done books.
If I hear of anything, I'll send the information your way.
You have a direct line. So
you never know what you come across sometimes, and you're like, oh, well, I remember somebody wanted this, so that's really cool. And I think that just having that education behind the martial arts is probably a great thing for you, because you can always defend yourself and you can show other people how to defend themselves. And
the weirdest thing is, well, I used to teach women's self-defense decades ago, and the weirdest thing is, people, to put it in WWE terms, wrestling terms, I look like a heel. I look like a bad guy, right? I'm big. I'm mean looking. And that, ironically means that there's no fights. Everyone looks at me and says, ooh, bad idea, and walks the other way. So as far as once again, my girlfriend being indigenous here in Canada, when we don't go out together, she gets harassed. People give her a hard time for no reason, but when we're together, nobody has anything to say. It's just, I guess, the way of the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdos out there, but then again, I mean, that's kind of gives you ideas for new characters as well, to bounce off for personalities and whatnot. And I see that you could probably be set up for a lot of great things, because you really are a very tall guy. And I don't think you're mean looking. I think you're handsome, but I think you have a uniquely stern look. In other words, if I was looking at you and you kind of tilt an eyebrow, I'm going to think you mean business. Maybe that's what the people are walking away from.
I think so. I mean, when it's time to get down, I get down. When I did security for a long time.
Yeah. You look
right now I'm just looking to work, go back to the basics, work as a bouncer, because not because I'm good at fighting, because I'm good at talking. I'm going to give your listeners, Debbie, this is a first time you are going to get this just from me. No one else is going to teach you this. Here's the number one tool you can ever have when dealing with someone who is intoxicated. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. I guess I had to make sure. So whisper to them. If someone is intoxicated and they're causing an incident, whisper to them. They will drop their voice into a whisper when they respond to you. And that, as they say in Young Guns, that has saved my life more times than, a Colt. So when, someone comes up and goes, yeah, you don't have the right to kick me out of anywhere. You go, hey, did you have a good time tonight? And they go, yeah, I had a pretty good time. I'm telling you, thank you to everyone who is listening. You now have a lesson that will work amazingly every time. The end.
Yeah, because it's an emotional, it actually brings them back into themselves.
Well, they're still drunk, but they actually, it fits. It works. They sit there and say, yeah, I had a good time tonight. And they stop talking about who they want to fight and who they're going to beat up. And then you go, okay, well, can I talk you outside? Yeah, okay. And they follow you outside, and then you go, now you can't come back in. So, at this point, I got laid off because of the pandemic.
Everybody got hit hard with that pandemic. And now
I was working through most of it. I was doing security through most of it.
That's good.
And then that kind of ran out. And, luckily, my mom has a house in South Carolina that she wasn't using. And so I lived there for a while, and then my girlfriend was like, well, why don't we just go back to Canada? And so here I am in Canada, which is, a totally different experience because as much as I traveled overseas, I didn't really live there. I've done 2 weeks here and 2 weeks there, but now like really getting to see Canada where, things are different, but they're not that different has been a welcome change.
It's good though. It is good though. I've only been to Canada once, but I've been on the East Coast to like Quebec, where it's all
Well,
French.
you're in Maine, so you're kind of in Canada. Like, let's be honest. You're kind of in America. You're kind of in Canada in Maine.
You hear them all in the summertime. Yes.
No, I lived an hour south of Portland for a year.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Pre-GHI, pre all that stuff. People are like, oh, it must have been so different for you to move around. I'm like, I lived in the Middle East before I was on GHI. None of this is new to me. No, I lived an hour south of Portland, and all my neighbors. Look, I'm going to give, there's 2 lessons. I want every time someone tunes into your show, Debbie, they get a serious, like, things they can use. If you move to Maine and you're not from Maine, they do not like you. Do not seek approval. If you're not from Maine, they don't want to talk to you. They don't know you. Stay away. They won't bother you. Just mind your business. And that's my takeaway from Maine.
That's funny. You get good lobster, though.
Oh, my God, amazing. My stepdad was a
Seafood's
fiend.
on top. Yeah.
He just went nuts on lobster.
You're killing me. That's funny. I think that's old school farmer stuff. That's like old people, But those are the generations where they left their houses unlocked and there was no issues. You know what I mean?
Oh, it wasn't like that when I was there. I'll tell you. You want to talk about spooky stories? You have a ghost hunter on. You got to do a little bit of spooky, but let's keep it honest spooky. So, I was in Maine. And I went to my employer that I did security for lived about a half hour from me. In Maine, in the snow, a half hour is like half a mile down the road. So I went to work, came home, and there was boot prints. I had a deck that was all windows. It was beautiful. It looked out on a lake. It was gorgeous. Somebody had been walking around my deck, looking in the windows while I was there, while I was inside. And I couldn't see them, they could see me. And, Maine is crazy. I went into a gun store. There was a state trooper there, and he was asking the owner of the gun shop how to make his assault rifle fully automatic.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, Rob, we're going to take a really quick break. Stay with that story.
Well, thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm going to head to a break now. This section has been brought to you by Nabisco. Nabisco, the treats everyone can enjoy.
All right, Mark, go ahead. Go to break. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hollywood Red Carpet Radio Show. And I'm here talking with Rob. All right.
You're right.
I'm gonna mess it up.
Never been to New Jersey. You're from Maine. You should know Demarest, New Jersey.
Hey, I have a
you even paused. You were like, I'm going to say it right this time. And then you're like, Demarest.
See, sorry. But happy birthday. And I didn't want to, throw that at you at first. I wanted to say it now. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it. I celebrated my birthday yesterday here in Canada. I actually, my biggest birthday gift I gave to myself. And it is actually from Corky Calhoun. I now have a autographed picture of Corky Calhoun.
I'm thinking, who is that? Why do I know that name? Calhoun is very, very familiar actor, right?
Yeah.
Who is it? What did he play?
What he played for the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, all right. See, I thought it was an actor. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but that's awesome, though.
What a lot of people don't know is my hobby in the past couple of years has been collecting autographs that have no meaning whatsoever. So here's my best story. If I can share it to your listeners, here's my best story. So I go up to the gentleman who does the voice acting for Squidward on SpongeBob SquarePants, right? This is at Florida SuperCon. And I hand to him, along with my money for his autograph, a VHS tape of House Party 2, the Pajama Jammy Jam. And he looks at me. He doesn't take my money, so I'm just holding it. So finally I put the tape down, and he says in Squidward's voice, because that's his real voice, says, "I wasn't in that." And I said, "Yeah, I know." So I'm holding the cash in front of him. He does not want to sign my VHS tape of Pajama Jammy Jam House Party 2. But he sees money right in front of him. So finally he takes the money and signs his name and then writes Squidward and underlines it 3 times. So that is kind of, I have water from Loch Ness. I have water from Lake Champlain. I have dirt from the Roswell supposed UFO sighting. And I have Squidward signing a VHS copy of House Party 2 with Kid and Play.
That's hilarious.
End.
That's hilarious. I like that you collect things where you go.
Like, hey, it's my show. Hey,
I think it's hilarious.
I had adventures too.
You'll never ever forget that.
Debbie, let me tell you something.
I don't think he'll forget it either.
Debbie, where are you from?
I'm from Maine.
Let's talk about Debbie for a minute here.
No.
Debbie, where are you from originally?
Maine.
No.
Born and bred. I've lived here my entire life.
I did not run into, in my year in Maine, I never heard someone go, "Hey, get out of here. I'm from Maine, eh?" you sound like you're from Queens, maybe Staten Island. There's no way you're from Maine. Yeah, I like them lobsters, huh? What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, that's what it is. You're killing me. You're making me laugh. Now I can't tell.
In like hardcore. Forget about it.
I had an Italian grandmother, so I spent quite a bit of time with her. So who knows? I mean, she was very thick accented from her parents grew up in Italy and then lived in New York, and then of course they migrated into Maine. So it's one of those deals.
Enough compliments also to Mark, our producer of the show, who is doing an excellent job. Mark is actually from Hawaii, or as he says, Hawaii.
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I live in Texas. I've lived here for.
I just wanted to get Mark to break fourth wall.
God,
something like, what the hell are you talking about?
But Debbie does that all the time. She's like, yeah, Mark's from Texas. No, I'm not. I'm from Pennsylvania, and but I live here in Texas. This is my second time living here in Texas. So yeah.
It's funny we're far apart.
We're landed state. I did 6 months or so in Texas, and it was during COVID. So I can't say like, whoa, I've seen Texas. No, because everything was shut down.
Right.
But I can't see a huge reason to go back. I got to be honest. If I lose my one fan from Texas, that's okay.
Where would you like to go?
Vermont. I'd like to go back to Vermont.
Vermont's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I worked there with children with, I was a teacher for children with learning disabilities at a boarding school outside of Burlington. And I would like to go back. I quite enjoyed it. I think Burlington, is a wonderful city. My cousin works for Burton Snowboards in the city. I'd like to go back there. Whether that's ever going to happen, this is my 87th birthday. So, yeah. What do you mean? Why are you laughing, Debbie?
Anyway, I know you're not that old, but then again, you lived
sent me a message that said he fact checked it, and yes, I am 87 as of today.
That's crazy. You look so good for 87 years old.
I used to play that joke on my birthday. I'd be like, hey, not bad for 55. And the worst thing that it backfired one time, someone was like, well, good for you, 55. And I'm like 32 at the time. I'm telling you, these TV shows age you. Don't do it, people. Everyone out there, do not do it. Okay, I've got someone in the chat room. What is her question, Debbie?
I don't know, Mark, what's she saying, hon?
I don't see anybody in the chat room.
Typical Robb D interview. I don't see anyone in the chat room. I think everyone kind of turned off after you started yammering about a half hour ago. But anyway, I used to always throw it to, okay, we got a question in the chat room.
No, they're just posting memes. So don't worry about it. Yeah,
Mark washed it. He was like, no.
Well, I do have a question. Now, are you all set with are you still going to be doing paranormal research, or is that going to be something you do every now and then?
No, I never stopped. And that's a interesting. I never stopped. I was ghost hunting since I was, officially since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And I've never, people say to me, oh, do you still ghost hunt? And I say, yeah, what do you mean? And they go, well, you're not on TV anymore. To me, that is not the pinnacle of success. Well, you were on TV. Why do it now? You already won the game. Well, what do you mean? I didn't figure out, how to find ghosts, so I'm not done.
Right.
So since I've been in Canada, I've investigated, I think, Debbie, you want to hear the greatest story of all time? I know Mark does.
Yes, we do. We all want to.
Okay. We are finite on time, but so I go to a prison here in Canada. I shall not name it. And it's also a restaurant bar, which is closed because of COVID protocols. I walk inside and there's, the people who are investigating. There's several gentlemen sitting around a bar. Okay, cool. Good looking guys, fit guys. And so I sit down with them. It's a very small bar. And I said, hey, what are you guys up to? Oh, just work. Huh. Cool. So, well, I better go investigate. Now, the investigation, they had old prison cells in the basement. And it was a good investigation. I was getting great EVPs, a lot of responses from the equipment. What I did not know is those gentlemen were there to film an adult movie. I went back upstairs and there was two young women there who were ready to perform. And it was, of all my experiences, it took going to Canada to be ghost hunting. Well, upstairs they are performing. And I think that was one of the weirder experiences I've ever had. The end.
That's awesome. I love that. After everybody left, I bet the energy was really high. Just saying.
When you have people, and I'm not making this up, walking around going, I can't remember if I took my Viagra.
Oh my God.
You're like checking the
How
batteries.
many women was he with? And yeah, what's wrong with him? Anyway, wow. Well, then a ghost got his weenie.
And, you talk about being on camera and acting. I could have started a new career right there.
That's hilarious. That's a TV show in itself. The ghost got his weenie.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some weird stuff. I won't even talk about on some of the shows I've done. I mean, people are like, "Oh yeah, he was on GHI." I've actually done 8 TV shows, and everything from GHI to Haunting Australia to Destination Truth to Ghost Hunters to I did 2 shows on Spanish language channels, and my Spanish sucks.
Really?
So I got away with that, I'll never know.
Smiled a lot, and you were the quiet one, remember?
Yeah, I was like,
Ask Rob. Yeah.
No, I mean, that was probably I think that I should have walked out of that investigation and said, and that's a wrap. That's a career. Now I've seen everything. Because I could tell you, off the record, how many people we had on GHI that were bomb drunk. Not the team. Some of the clients we had on the show were just smashed.
So overseas, they tend to drink just like it's water. Some wines and whatnot.
I'm thinking of one person in particular. She was American and had moved to this country and was wrecked. And just when you're around someone and they've been boozing for quite a while and it's coming out of their pores.
Yeah.
You could smell the whiskey.
Oh, rough.
And the
you're all
funny
set.
thing
As long as you don't wake up next to it, you're all set. Don't worry about anything. As long as you can migrate over there.
I'm sitting there with Brian Harnois.
Oh, geez Louise. Not Brian.
Thanks.
I met Brian. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Shut the hell up and start flying.
Brian is a wise guy. But he's a good guy. Brian's a wise guy.
I love the guy to death.
Yeah, he's funny. I met him 2010. You remember the USS Salem?
Year ago.
On that ship. Yeah, that was way back when. He was doing all kinds of different stuff. He was in between shows, but still, I know what you're talking about because he's a wise guy.
Oh my God, you can't there is no filter on that guy. They actually came and said, note from the network, we really need to cut down on the swearing, and so every head in the room, without thinking about it, we all turned and looked at Brian. Hey, what the F? Oh, I didn't swear. What is this effing S?
That's Brian.
He should have been a commercial for someone. That's Brian. And that would be the end of the commercial.
Yeah. Funny. But you got to work with some really great people. Who did you enjoy working with?
Pretty much, honestly, it would be easier to say who I did not enjoy working with. I really had, from working with Jay and Grant to Dustin Perry, Barry Fitzgerald, Brian Harnois, Andy Andrews, Donald LaCroix, the people, everyone on Haunting Australia, Alan Tiller, Raylene, Ian Lawman, Ray Jordan, Gaurav Tiwari, my best friend who passed away. I've gotten the chance to work with some amazing people who have taught me so much. And I've also gotten the chance to work with people that are awful, You know, I'm not going to name them, and I don't care if if I heard they passed tomorrow, I wouldn't shed a tear. Let me just put it that way.
Because it kind of balanced you as far as like, well, you don't know the business till you're in it. And like you're giving people fair warning that, look, if you're going to go into this field, just remember that there's a tide there and you could be dragged out into it or you could be washed ashore and let go.
You don't have a choice. Look, I'm telling people, if you want to be on TV, and I hear all these people talking about, hey, I never wanted to be on TV. Screw TV. No, you never got asked. Let's be honest. You never got asked to be on TV. Nobody wants you on TV. So if we're going to be honest about it, nowadays, if you want to go on TV, you're going to be expected to play the game. And if you're not willing to do that, don't go on TV. I was able to do it and keep my honesty. I can't say even, tell the truth. I keep it honest. Not even everyone I worked with on GHI was completely honest. That's the truth. Sorry I have to say it, but that's the truth. I can't keep it honest if I don't say that. There was people on there that I thought were suspect. And it is what it is.
It is what it is. Because now that I don't think the show's even running anymore. But it had its seasons.
For 10 years. Almost 10 years.
Well, they still sell the DVDs that you're in those shows. And
if you look,
I thought that you were great. So
yeah, if you go to the $1 bin, it's probably usually the place to find a season of GHI.
It's that. I saw one that somebody was selling for like $20. I swear to God.
My autograph, and I was like,
no,
hey.
No, it was just season 1.
Well, because it's become rare. I mean, I talked to, I don't know if you know Ron Fab, Chicago's finest from Ghost Cops.
Cricket, wait a minute. I know.
It was on.
I interviewed the Ghost Cops from, not Ghost Cops, what they were. They were police officers, but they were ghost hunters. Like, they had a TV show.
Ghost Brother, there's Ghost Loop, there's Ghost Humpers had 3 seasons.
To think about it, but it was years ago. I interviewed cops that were ghost hunters. But anyways, they did it for television too. But anyways, what was you saying?
My friend was on Ghost Cops, and they did 1 season, and they were honest. They were upfront and honest. And I said to him years later, and now we both share the same spot in the dollar bin for our seasons. And he enjoyed it. At least we're honest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work on reality TV. If you watch a ghost hunting show and all heck is breaking loose the entire episode, every episode, they are lying to you. And you know who I'm talking about. I don't call them by name anymore because I don't care enough about them to mention them. But these shows that find ghosts on every episode are tricking you, and people are buying into it. I call it para-LARPing. Your live action playing ghost hunting.
Yeah. Or paranoid, wanting to manifest something so badly that they believe
in a radio dial. You're gonna hear bits of radio, and then you say, I heard whatever you wanted to hear. If you activate an Ovilus, it will give out a word, and then you interpret it for your situation. And that's what's going on now. People are acting out how exciting, Debbie, back in the day, we would sit there for 8 hours and nothing would happen and we'd go home. But people don't want it anymore. They want instantaneous, like, oh, that radio just said, kill them. No, it didn't. It's radio garbage. You're tricking yourself. And people hate it when I say it. But as I said on my post on my Facebook today, I'm too old to care.
Yeah. There's that, and the fact that you listen to EVPs very differently than, well, now everybody wants to believe everything that's coming out of the Ghost Box and, like you said, the Ovilus and all the different apps that point out ghosts. Like, we all know that those aren't real, but when you're catching
we all know.
real,
I guarantee you, new people to the field don't know that's just bits of a radio station. They're buying into it. Trust me. You know,
and a lot of money on those.
Tell them they're wrong. They say, well, you're a has-been. No, because within the next, I just talked to my friend today. By the end of October, we're going to be releasing a piece of equipment that will knock everyone else out of the box. Forget all this garbage. This is going to be next level, real time, recording every half a second. This is everything. This changes the game. And people, I guarantee you, people will still be like, well, how do I use it with my spirit box? You don't. You know what I mean? Like, if that's where you're at as far as investigating, stay there. Right. We're moving forward. When you see this thing, you're going to say, wow, that has changed the game. And so that's why I have coming up for Halloween. We've been working on it for years now. This is going to change the game. If you're serious about looking for paranormal phenomenon, this is a game changer. And it's real and it's created, the prototype exists, it functions, it works, and it just blows everything else out of the water. It's amazing.
It's going to be interesting. And now you're going to do like a test run to show everybody how it works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My friend and I are going to do a video and say, here's what it is. Now, it looks like something that you're like, okay, can I have it tomorrow? Well, no, because this isn't like a radio, a broken radio that just spins through the channels. This is the next level. This is above and beyond.
Basically, it's kind of like created to order.
Yes. At a certain point, we will outsource it and have the boards made overseas and be able to get it more readily made. But this is not a K2. This is not a Frank's box. See, Frank Assumption invented this thing and said it doesn't talk to ghosts. And then everyone, just to cut him out of the picture, the guy passed away, Frank passed away. Everyone now is like, oh, yeah, the spirit box, the vortex, and they name it after. I call it the Debbie box. No, that sounded weird.
That could go many ways.
Yeah, no.
That's hilarious.
Well, thank God that Mark walked out of the room. Mark was checking on his 19 kids right now, so we snuck.
I think it's awesome. Now, Rob, where can people get in touch with you if they'd like to either hire you? Because I do think that you'd be an amazing actor. Plus, you're into travel. There's a lot of things that you do that's very beneficial as far as like different characteristics, like because you've done the bouncing, you've done the weightlifting, you've done all of these things, martial arts. You're actually a very awesome package.
Martial arts.
For people to be checking out. And you're funny.
I'm calling into your next show and getting you to admit you're from Queens.
Martial arts. They're funny.
How does anyone get in touch with me? You can do it on...
Where are your social platforms?
I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I am on LinkedIn. If you want to find me, you can find me. Trust me. And I get back to everyone who doesn't say, hey, so what was the scariest place you've investigated? Other than that, I will get back to you. Even if you have something weird in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Robb D. I'm trying to get that to catch on. It hasn't quite worked yet.
I'll remember that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right.
Well, Mark and Debbie, I'm sorry to cut things short, but I know that we are getting ready for the next show. Thank you very much to both of you for having you on. You have been tremendous.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob, so much.
Take care, dear. Talk to you soon.
Yes. Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you. That's our show for tonight. We will see you next week and have a great week. Stay safe. Bye-bye.